Speaking of departed lives, the director of the MTTD of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Alexander Obeng, has charged Ghanaians to vote for a political party who inculcates road safety measures in its manifesto as the basis for their vote. This, he says, will ensure road safety policies are given priority by policymakers. The National Road Safety Authority, in partnership with the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service and other non-state actors, embarked on a road safety campaign as Ghana celebrates its 63rd anniversary on the Accra-Tema motorway. We'll hear from him soon, but before then, it was a normal day. 37-year-old Dennis Ayimbila was heading to Bolgatanga for the burial of his father, but a crash midway robbed him of the opportunity to say his final goodbye. It also robbed him of his joy, as a spinal injury has made him lose his ability to control discharge of urine and feces. Maxwell Agarwal has more in this story for our hashtag #ArriveAlive campaign to stop accidents on Ghana's roads.
I am in Dennis's room. His sister Gloria is trying to get him in a reclining position for this interview. But the pain is simply unbearable. A tube-like device that stores his urine lies on the floor close to him. He sits to narrate to me how a speeding driver truncated his aspirations in his final year of studies to become a medical practitioner.
The police report that I managed to get, when you read the police report, they were saying that the driver of the trailer was the one who caused the accident because he was over speeding and then was sleeping at the same time. Some of the people got trapped in the bus, so they were trying to chisel and be able to get some out, though they were even dead. And in the process of doing, the bus caught fire. And Ben, our driver, is missing other people to ashes, living with only their schools.
He sustained a spinal injury which affected his ability to control urine flow and excreta.
Yeah, I can't control. Yeah, I can't control it. That's why the urine bag is connected. The better way to be able to control, there's something that if I feel urinating, I will just take it in, put in and urinate. Yeah.
So now you don't feel anything?
I don't feel my lower limbs, I don't feel anything. It just comes by it all. It just comes by it all. The same thing to when I'm going on private, it comes just like that. But, so as I sit, I have to be checking myself and all that. I've been confined to one place. Even as I talk to you now, I have vision problems. You can imagine somebody just lying at one place for 10 years, this 10 years. Even as I'm talking to you, I can't see you clearly. I have vision problems now. I'm even losing my sight gradually. My life is going waste. My life is going waste. And at this my age, I still have a long way to go in life. So I'm really appealing to the general public, appealing to Ghanaians, and even the rest of the world, that anybody who watches me should please come to my aid. Please come to my aid.
His 25-year-old sister, Gloria Labrob, says she had to drop out of school to take care of brother who used to fund her education.
To take care of him. If he want water, I'm the one who remove and give it to him. He cannot do anything. Because of that, I'm not going anywhere. Just sitting at home. I'm not doing anything. My colleagues are finished school, some are working. Look at me. Now I'm in the house. I'm not doing anything.
A pastor at the Divine Faith Ministries, Reverend George Carty, has been trying to get support for Dennis.
I know him from but when I saw him, honestly, his story really moved me. So I continued to intercede on his behalf, prayer day in, day out. He can't do anything for the past 10 years. He's just confined to one place. He cannot do anything. We know God is able to do all. but he needs medical attention, financial assistance. He needs financial support. So anybody watching, anywhere you are watching from, he needs financial support.
In another gruesome accident story, she survived a deadly crash on the Accra-Suhum highway on November 14, 1993. The spot of the accident has been nicknamed Suhum 22 because 22 people were killed. It was an accident involving a 33-seater passenger bus and a cargo truck reported to have been carrying out a dangerous overtaking. As part of our Arrive Alive campaign, Komla Adom has been speaking to 57-year-old Kafui Ekia Danswa Akatu, who has now taken to offering education on fire safety to residents and schools around the Adenta Snitz flats here in Accra.
Road traffic accidents is a terrible thing. Imagine just picking a bag that you are going in the cab only to be lifted by ambulance or haze from Suhum Government Hospital for specialist attention in Kolebu.
As she recounts the traumatic experience of November 14, 1993, tears fill the eyes of a retired fire officer who says she is 57 years but has been asked to proceed on retirement. It was a crash that left her permanently scarred with severe injuries to her arm, legs and head 27 years ago.
That accident was tagged as Suhum 22 because it is said 22 deaths were recorded, and it was a 33-seater bus that collided with articulator that was on. The 33-seater bus was in its course in its lane from Accra. The articulator was overtaken and met ours on head-on, and the vehicles. Imagine articulator and 33-seater bus is beyond repairs. But I'm alive, and I know it's a grace, and God has made me survive for a purpose.
Kafui Danswa Akatu's life will change, and for the rest of her active working life in the fire service, she was left redundant, unable to continue her physical education training.
I've been in Kolebu for 1 year. This arm, I had a closed fracture, so it was just in POP beside me, but the leg was so bad that the tibia fibula was compound fracture, my thigh bone. Imagine a physical education, this leg like this. Now I can run, I can squat, I can jog.
It's been a tough one for her, but she's happy she's alive. Alive to impact society the best way she can, championing girl child and fire safety education.
I've been declared as 55% physically challenged and 5% disfigured. And I resumed work from 1995, May thereabout, on light duties. And I've been on light duties till I went on retirement. And I was just made redundant. I was made to be showing up at Medina Fire Station for people not to say that I'm at home collecting salary, and that's my schedule. But I said, no, that's not me. There's something I have to do, which is fire safety education.
She was a fluent spokesperson for the fire service then, she tells me. Today, it's all a past glory.
Actually, I had a cut on my head. And the medical report tells that I've suffered brain contusion. The impact of the accident shook, and I've been in coma. I have all the medical report there.
But she's committing to joining a campaign for safer road transport to save many more lives.
I guess that they should go within the road limit or the speed that they are supposed to go when they are driving through town, as to that of town and that of highways. So they should observe the rules and not overtake in curves or people who, especially like on the highways where they stop at the roadside. There should be a bypass. A bypass should be created by in those towns like Budu, near Suhum, where mine happened at. But there should be a bypass where the car will park away from the road for those coming to have a straight on and know whether it's safe to go or not. They should just go by the road signs and what is expected of them on the roads.
It's been almost 30 years after the accident, but Kafui is lucky to have survived it. She's thankful that she at least has a voice left, one to say to another driver to be careful on the road, with the expectation that someone would listen.
Psalm 121, I've forgotten the verse 2, but when you go to Psalm 121, they said that we should always pray that God should preserve our going out and coming in, or anything at all can happen. You can be walking and the car will run into you. You can be in your kiosk or your container and the vehicle will run into it and you lose your life. In fact, I've suffered. So you can imagine life was just good. Oh, it's unfortunate.
She wants you to hashtag arrive alive.
And we all want you to arrive alive. We can now hear from Superintendent Alexander Obeng on the need to charge politicians to take our safety serious.
Let me make an appeal. Even in Ghana now, and I'll start with mine. In Ghana now, we are now preparing for 2020 elections, isn't it? All political parties are preparing their manifestos. For me and my household, I will look at a manifesto of a political party that has incorporated the 2020 and 2030 actions that has been deployed by UN in terms of road safety, that I do have it in them to attract my vote, because without it, I'm not safe. And without it, I'm likely to die. Without it, the youth are likely to die. Without it, so many, about 12,000 Ghanaians will get injured this year. So what do I have to, what am I saying? I'm saying that I'm appealing to all political parties, as they have set up their manifesto committees, to also get closer to road safety managers and then to adopt all the road safety ideals, which is also the state policy, into their manifestos, and assure Ghanaians that when they are given the necessary power to come and lead, they will also not push road safety to the back burner. That is my appeal to the media, and that's what is important, that we have JoyNews, because without you, who am I to articulate this?
The hashtag remains arrive alive. Please drive safely, especially since we're celebrating the holiday weekend. You're still live here on The Pulse with me, Daniel Daze. A lot more stories to deal with, but some of the stories that we've dealt with so far, we've taken you to Sogakope, where friends and relatives of Maxwell Ajali, the late Maxwell Ajali, are calling for swift state action in investigations into his death. We've also heard the sad story of victims of road accidents who are calling on the general public to drive safely as we embark on this Arrive Alive campaign. My name is Daniel Daze. There is more coming up on The Pulse. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. This is The Pulse. My name is Daniel Daze. We continue with our Arrive Alive campaign, and the director for the MTTD, Superintendent Alexander Obeng, is calling for support from non-state actors who have endorsed the JoyNews Arrive Alive campaign.
Appreciate JoyNews and these non-state actors who are here with us, that we want to see in the background. You see High Links Communication Limited. You see Dr. Agarwal hospital, and you see JoyNews. It shows clearly in that you are even overwhelming the state actors here, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of Ghana Police Service and the National Road Safety Authority of Ministry of Transport. Of course, you are three, and it's 3-2. It shows clearly where the world is heading towards. That in a situation where we find ourselves, where much of the set goal, including achieving as a 50% of fatalities reduction, which we couldn't do between 2011 and 20, UN thinks that we should, in collaboration with non-state actors, road safety advocacy group, the media, the health service professionals, and High Links, among other plethora of private entities who have the will, capacity, the needed competences and wherewithal to deliver all that they have to support the state in achieving our road safety goals. And I think that it's good that we are gathered here, more so when we have, on this day of our independence, instead of cooling off elsewhere, we have all decided on behalf of Ghana, come as one people. Either you work for the formal sector or you work for the non-formal, that we are one. And that one problem that confronts us is that every year about 2,000 Ghanaians die, and that by close of day, this Independence Day, on the 6th of March 2020, if much of this is not done, and if any history is relevant to us, 6 Ghanaians or road users will lose their lives on the road. And on this basis, Superintendent Alexander Kweku, Director in charge Education, Research and Training at Motor Traffic and Transport Department, I, on behalf of my Director General and on behalf of the Inspector General of Police and Ghana and all road users, I endorse Arrive Alive of JoyNews.
Now, another organization which has endorsed the campaign is Dr. Agarwal's hospital. They provided eye screening for the drivers, and they said they were encouraged by the Arrive Alive campaign, and they are joining the fight.
We are partnering with them because of the number of accidents that have gone up lately in Ghana. We are in partnership with them so that we kind of like inform and sensitize the drivers to know the safety and importance of having a proper eye, to see and drive. And also we are kind of like endorsing the Joy FM Arrive and Alive campaign to help drivers, kind of like know the importance of their eyes. In terms of when drivers drive at night or even during the day, because they don't have the, let's say, the knowledge about eye problems.
Now, we are joined on the line by the director of the MTTD, Superintendent Alexander Obeng, and in the studio is the face you just saw, Michelle Francis from Agarwal Hospital. Good afternoon, Michelle. Welcome to the Pulse.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
And on the phone lines, we have Superintendent Obeng. Superintendent, tell us, from your perspective, how is the campaign faring? Hello, Superintendent.
To all of us. I think, first of all, it is important to appreciate where we have come, how far we have come as a country in terms of public health and safety regarding the use of the road, either as vehicle owners, drivers, vehicle occupants, and pedestrians. That the impact is that the road use is having on us is unacceptable. And to the panacea we need, we cannot deny the inclusion of the private sector or the non-state actors, including the media, because we are many and we are scattered, including visiting road users across the country, and on-the-spot checks alone cannot solve our road safety problem. That we need a medium that instantly can reach out to as many as possible so that we'll be able to share the road safety ideas and best practices, particularly those that target the vulnerable road users, including pedestrians and those on motorbikes and those on bicycles, among others. And therefore, having opportunity to partner and work on the spine of the media, and in particular, Arrive Alive project is welcoming, and I endorse it, and I hope that it will not only end with the endorsement, but many Ghanaians who tune in and hear the ideas that are being propagated, the sensitization and issues regarding our the compliance we need to ensure that we have safer road users is put to use by Ghanaians. So I endorse it, and it has come at the right time, at the offering of the 2020 to 2030 road safety campaign that has been launched by the United Nations, of which Ghana is an integral part.
Right. Thank you very much for those kind words, Superintendent Obeng. Now, Mr. Francis, you have decided to join the campaign. What's your evaluation of how effective it's been?
Well, with the Arrive Alive campaign, it's we've seen that JoyNews has taken it to another level, whereby they are trying to inform the drivers on the importance of road safety. We at Dr. Agarwal's Eye Hospital make sure that at least everyone has the best eyesight to be able to do what they have to do in a very healthy manner. For instance, the drivers that go do their daily routines of going and coming, they have to have the best eyesight. If you don't have the best eyesight, you're not going to arrive alive. So you have to make sure that your eyes are seeing the best. A lot of people come with eye problems that mind-boggling, and most of them say they're actually driving. So we are wondering, how are you driving with this particular eyesight?
Right.
Yeah. So what we do is that we are doing a campaign whereby we give awareness to all Ghanaians on glaucoma, which is an actual rampant disease in Africa. With glaucoma, it's known as a silent killer because it has no symptoms. It's not like malaria, whereby a patient or someone will have high pressure or headaches. No. With glaucoma, it comes suddenly and then it's too late for you to see.
Interesting.
So what we do is that when you come to the hospital, we make sure that we do all these thorough investigations and scans to check and see if your vision is up to par. If it's not, then we give you the best solution. With glaucoma, a lot of people have the assumption that there is treatable. Yes, it's manageable, but there's no cure. So for you to be able to save your vision, you need to come or see a doctor, an ophthalmologist, for them to actually examine your eyes to see how best it is.
Right. And I'm very curious to hear that connection between eye problems and road accidents. But we hit the road today, Superintendent Obeng. Can you run us through some of the details of what we did when we were on the Accra-Tema motorway? How many drivers did we see? What are some of the challenges that we identified?
Hello.
Right, Superintendent Obeng, if you can hear me, I just wanted to get some details of this morning's effort on the Accra-Tema motorway.
Please, can you come again, please?
I was asking, how did this morning's effort go?
Thank you very much.
On the Accra-Tema motorway.
I was elated because I saw Ghana coming together with one purpose, that road safety problem is a shared and collective responsibility for the state actors and non-state actors, and it takes activity on the ground to solve it. And I saw Highlink, and I saw Dr. Agarwal Eye Hospital officials and the National Road Safety Authority officials with the support from the NAPO officials and Motor Traffic and Transport Department personnel, of which I was part, representing the Director General among others. And I also saw interest and public-spirited road users also welcoming, participating, receiving as we share, and admonishing ourselves and encouraging ourselves that one problem we have is road safety problem regarding preventable incidents or preventable road crashes as a result of human negligence among others. And that now we have all decided that since we know the problem, we will solve it together. And with the support that we received, I think that that is the way forward.
Did you observe any
the media and that there shouldn't be only the burden of the Ghana or the JoyNews, because JoyNews also anchored all the matters we did. And I'm happy that the dream of the state is being achieved in our lifetime and not in the distant millennia, that road safety, enforcement without enhanced sensitization may not achieve much. And so I'm encouraged, and I'm happy that in times like this, JoyNews was there, Highling was there, Dr. Agarwal personnel were there, and then MTTD and all who interacted on this Independence Day to solve one of our problems in Ghana. And I encourage that other media also share with you, and I'm happy.
Did you observe any road traffic offences this morning?
Road safety is on.
Did you observe any road traffic offences this morning?
Oh, obviously.
How many?
That's why I'm happy, because we have some perennial road safety problems regarding bad manners driving and indiscipline. And those that I saw, which we managed to influence such behavior, include non-use of speed belts, the fact that some even minors were not stopped by the adult occupant. And we managed to admonish and draw attention, warn, admonish, and we gave some flyers to reinforce that. We also saw other infractions, i.e. non-compliance with standard tire use, and among others. And I think that as far as many of the motorists who saw the presence of us, and it reminded them, and most of them were wearing, those who didn't know inquired, and we drew their attention. I hope that it is a good sign, and I hope all of us we learned a lot from what happened. There were a lot that...
Do you have a number, Superintendent Obeng? Do you have a number of these infractions that you observed?
Come again, sir.
Do you have a number of these infractions that you observed?
A number of...
these traffic infractions that you observed?
Oh, no, there were as many, because it was admonishment and not necessarily to arrest. Off my head, I can say those that, for example, we observed without wearing seatbelts. If my estimate is right, about 50 persons were not in seatbelts, and the particular notice I took was minors who the drivers have confined them to the back seat, but were not wearing seatbelts. I could count about 7, and so I'm happy because the vehicle occupant, particularly the motorist, allowed us to demonstrate to the motorists what they are supposed, their responsibility to strap these minors under 18 who were put on their charge to ensure that any minor on board a vehicle driven by an adult, the adult to ensure that the minors under 18 are forced to wear for them. There's another observation we made that some of the seatbelts, because they were not comfortable and prescribed for the minors at the back. So I recommended to them what the law says, that such minors, because of their physical features, the parents should provide with them with carrying devices like carrying cots, among others, because the original seatbelts on the vehicles were not appropriate. And I think that these are some of the things moving on or assist us when we are reviewing the airline to ensure that such things are taken notice. So generally, it was good. And one thing also is that when such setups are done, people tend to also show compliance in advance. So that was also noticed. However, generally, people appreciated it, And one thing that we also demonstrated to them was that we gave a flyer that says "Stop Road Accident Now," and we gave it out. And majority accepted it and displaying it at the rear of their vehicles to others who were not present. And we hope that anybody driving who sees "Stop Road Accident Now" placed at the rear of the vehicle you are following, know that Ghana is admonishing you to refrain from such behavior, including excessive speeding, unlawful overtaking, unlawful change of lane, giving vehicles to untrained or unlicensed persons, and on alcohol or on other substances that influence behavior to drive dangerously.
Now, Superintendent, you've touched on very key issues there that have to do with road safety, and I'll bring a couple of them to Michelle Francis, who is with us in studio. Now, Ms. Francis, 94% of all road traffic accidents in the country are caused by what we call the human factor. You introduce an important part of it that these people can't see enough. We know that 700,000 people are suffering from glaucoma, according to the Association of Ghana. How many cases do you see on the average, let's say in a month or a week, of people who are not fit to drive?
Severally, actually, and those numbers are actually increasing every day. Now, let's say in a day we can have about, let's say, 50 walk-ins with people with glaucoma. And this is a part whereby, because they don't have the education or the knowledge about this particular disease, they go about their day thinking it's just a normal eye problem. So they drive and do all sorts of activities, having these challenges. Now, when they come to the hospital, most of them, it's already too late. So we can't do anything for them. Then those that come and at least there is some vision, there's some hope, we try to do some sort of treatment plan or even surgeries to at least help prevent the remaining vision from actually deteriorating. Most of the times with the glaucoma, it affects your optic nerves. This is what you need to actually see and see clearly. If these optic nerves are severed, or maybe there is a problem involved in that particular area of the eye, vision is impaired and it's permanent. So that is one of the things that, this is one of the diseases that especially Ghanaians are facing. And also glaucoma being hereditary, it means that it passes down from one generation to another. So what you do is that at least, maybe if you know of someone, or maybe your grandparents had this disease, or maybe they had an eye problem, just for precautionary sake, check your eyes. Make sure that there is no problem, that you are seeing much better. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So for these 50 walk-ins, would you say that the majority of them are not fit to drive?
Yes, in sense.
Interesting. Superintendent Obeng, finally with you, would you agree with the assertion being made by our experts from Agarwal Hospital that this large number of drivers are not fit to hold a steering wheel because of their eyesight?
So far as that is concerned, I was happy with what went on today, because it's something that we need to sustain, knowing very well that periodically in Ghana, every 2 years is when drivers go to DVLA and get their vitals examined. First of all, medically examine their eyes and observe them physically to see whether they don't have any other disability. So, in between, if we have a reliable stakeholder like High Link and Dr. Agarwal Eye Hospital personnel, an entity to support road users in Ghana through Arrival Light campaign by drawing the attention and admonishing and directing them to the physician to examine their eye, knowing very well that without the eye or the eyes, nobody will be granted license, because driving is pivoted on a principle called see and be seen. And therefore, when we have a strategy like this that draws the attention of the motorists to the fact that it is vital that he or she ensures that the eye is as expected, it is well and good. And so, for me, it is worthy of emulation, and all of us must adhere. Me, myself, I'm a driver. So, I've also taken a cue. I will not even wait for the 2 years. But periodically, I will proceed to police hospital eye clinic for them to assist me.
So you would agree then, Superintendent?
Appropriate lens, I'll use it.
So you would agree then, Superintendent, that a number of these drivers on the road are not driving well because they are not checking their eyesight regularly?
Hello?
I was asking if you would agree with the assertion that a number of these people are driving the way they are because their eyesight is not very good.
I wouldn't take my neck out completely, because the only system we have to check is at the DVLA when they go, and anytime they go, they are supposed to have their eyesight examined every 2 years before, and they should pass that eye test before the licenses are renewed. So far as these licenses are renewed, it's that they have good eyesight and they don't have any disability. And therefore, for me, what I would like to say is that we shouldn't wait. And there's also likelihood that some of the crashes may be as a result of the poor eyesight, and that's why it is also included on the checklist before licenses are renewed. And so it's important that we do that. And as humans, we degenerate. So nobody will doubt that all the organs will always be as it is. We degenerate, so it's important.
I was having a conversation with a few friends, superintendents, finally, and the observation was made that it's very rare to find a commercial driver, I mean a trotro or a taxi driver, who wears glasses, but it's very common to find persons with, I mean, the national prevalence of eye problems in Ghana is so high. It's interesting, isn't it, that among this large section of the population, you don't have any people wearing glasses, any people admitting that they have eye problems and treating them actively.
Anyway, I do a lot of training. I've seen some commercial drivers, particularly intercity drivers, none of whom put on glasses.
But for taxis and trotro drivers who work on their own?
Yeah, the intra is not pronounced. And there is some veracity in that statement, but you need to test it.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Alex Obeng, for joining us. He speaks for the MTTD. I want to bring that question to you, Michelle Francis, because it's an observation that we make, isn't it? That you find drivers who work for themselves, trotro and taxi drivers, rarely are seen to be actively treating eye problems. Looking at the vast number of people that you treat in Dr. Agarwal's alone, would you say this is a safe observation to make?
I would say no, because most people that come to a hospital are like the elderly. Let's say the average, let's say from 25 to let's say 40 are far in between. And most of the times when they come, they don't want glasses. That's what they don't want glasses. They don't want to wear glasses, even if they have a problem of seeing from afar or even seeing near. They don't want glasses. So the thing about it is that if they don't have these particular things, or let's say eyesight glasses that will help their eyesight in driving, it's going to be a problem, because if they don't have these glasses to be able to drive, then it's going to have a problem with them driving, let's say at night or maybe during the day. Most of the times with the glaucomas, I'm coming back to the glaucoma, it affects your peripheral vision. What I mean by peripheral is like the side of your eyes. Normally you're looking straight, but the side of your eyes, you can at least feel some other things around you. But because of glaucoma, it kind of like starts from that area, so most people don't know they have the problem. So this in turn can cause a lot of accidents, because they can't see any incoming car from their side of the vision, of the road, which they now just crane into another person's lane and then cause massive accidents.
Right. Right.
So I would say that the truck drivers mostly don't want to announce that they have an eye problem, because if they do say that, their licenses get revoked. They don't get a renewal of their licenses. So yeah, that's a problem.
Michelle Francis, thank you so much for joining us this
Thank you very much for having me.
Live on the Pulse here on JoyNews. What we've learned so far. This morning, the MTTD embarked on a sensitization campaign on the Accra-Tema motorway. About 50 persons were observed not wearing seat belts. About 7 minors were observed sitting in the back of vehicles, also not wearing seat belts. The MTTD is calling on all Ghanaians to drive carefully and also get their eyes tested regularly when they're renewing their licenses. Let's see.